Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Fridays with xhu98. The recording has started. So I'm back. Good to see everyone. And today we're just going to look at part 2 of this game of the West Lake Jubango between xhu98 and Fan Xiping, the two strongest players in the scene, as you can argue. And this was a very interesting game because the fighting variation from here is very complicated, but I don't obviously require one to understand every single move out there. I just hopefully you'll take something away. Now, obviously, this doesn't work for black because if he just cuts, then there'd be an Atari, so he'd be killed. I don't want that. Therefore, there must be. Oh, it's House Absolute. It can be anything really. Like, I don't mind. So black tried to make things more complicated here. In the game, what black did was black pushed first, and then played here. So black is trying to get good shape, obviously. If white just connects, then that's what black wants. Almost feels like black's got a free move, and then that looks pretty nice. If white plays here, it doesn't seem like a bad strategy though, because white can counterattack, and even though it seems like black's cut is quite dangerous, it doesn't quite work. So like, oh, oops, like that. This should make sense. Therefore, black must block, and white can now fix their shape. This is actually pretty good because black is kind of in a low spot, and the shape is pretty weak. There's plenty of room for attacks such as J3, J2, if white wants to take black's eyes away. And this is not too bad either. However, in the game, white decided to play this, which was counterattacked by black. So you could have an interesting dynamic going on here. White tries to counterattack, and black tries to counterattack white's move. So it just shows ki, which in Japanese means the fighting spirit. So you're not trying to accommodate your opponent's plans here. My head just looked appeared very large on the screen because I had to grab coconut water. Anyway, if you guys are still following, some of you guys are here absolutely new to the channel, please feel free to follow. Just click on the purple Twitch follow button. I will very gladly thank you for that. Also, if black plays this, white plays this, seems like we're in a bit of a tough fight, but do I have exploding head disease? So what happens essentially is, I play this out a little bit myself. Black has 4 liberties, obviously, so if white just starts taking... Oh, Romy just followed. Thank you for following. Oh, that's right. I forgot to put on my headphones. That's what's wrong this entire time. When you haven't done this shit for so long, you just forget everything that you're supposed to be doing. So, this won't work because unfortunately we have a connect and die situation. So white plays this, and white just dies. So that doesn't quite work. Wow, this feels different. I haven't worn headphones for in a week. But the point is, black can now get this move at L5. So white's counterattack is not as successful as it seems. So also white has to defend the weakness in the center. By the way, if you guys have any questions about this, please feel free to ask questions here, because this is supposed to be a conversation, not just me lecturing all of y'all in front of the computer screen. Or you could be watching this on the toilet, but I wouldn't know. So basically, the idea is black is trying to extend into the center, as well as at the same time trying to rescue those 4 stones. Because if white gets to cut out those 4 stones, it's... I mismarked. It'll be a lot of points, for sure. So, thank you for asking. What is the top best publishing house for Reishi books? I would say Kiseido for English books. Oh, you want to write one? Yeah, you should probably contact them. You can also just independently publish your own book, you know? Sarcasm misdirect. I failed. Just what? What did white really gain with J4? It seems like not much. And let black cement position. J4. Yes, I think that was a bit of a mistake here in the game, because it allowed black to really get a good shape. You don't want to play random moves such as this one, because if you Atari, at first it seems pretty cool, right? But what might happen is you'll have to eventually come back and fix, and black still has this. So in a sense, even though white gets a free move here, is even better shape, because like if you connect, black can do lots of things. For example, this one. So all of this would be pretty pleasant, right? So this is oh, I skipped. So yeah, this is looking pretty good for black. However, there's still some agi in the bottom left corner there. Which is what makes this game fun, right? Because as we talked about in the first half of the game, some of you guys may have not watched it, but black tried very hard here to enclose territory, and so now there's potential for white to live this corner in Sante. For example, if white just connects now, black has to connect, and then white plays this. Because black is concerned about like the security of this large groove, which could be surprising but true. Because if you let's say if you play here, then we might be in trouble. In other words, the corner is not entirely black's. Now white plays this. If white decides to play this now, then that's also okay. But white has chosen to eliminate the possibility of black connecting his groups together. Of course, white can also connect, but that's not a good idea, because if white connects, then black gets really nice shape. And that's not cool, because now no matter what, if you take a look at this shape here, white cannot fix. There's just too many cutting points. If white fixes this one, then black can push there. If white does it otherwise, black can push here. So doesn't seem like there's a way white can defend everything. And white plays here though, you might ask, why not just Atari, right? It seems pretty, it makes a lot of sense at first glance. Like if black just blocks, then obviously what you have is a Sente Atari. And the black connects. Now we play here. So it seems like if black plays this way, he can connect those groups together. and live. But white gets very nice shape. Also, the center is all fixed. We previously talked about how vulnerable that central area is with all those cutting points. But now this is like rock solid, right? So this is a variation very good for white. Therefore, you'll be looking for something that is different. For example, black cutting at 03. So if white's Ataris, right, which is what we expect to see, then we can have this sequence. So basically, black gives up those 2 stones, a pretty common sacrificial strategy. This is a little bit different because black now has Sente. You might be wondering, like, how is this different from the previous variation we showed, right? Well, there is a huge difference because black now has Sente. So black can either fix this corner or come over here. Black can do this, for example. Black can do this. Anything to solidify his position on the left will be good. Then again, you might ask, what if white just plays there first, and then gets to this ko, right? Forgot what I was going to say there. Now this might seem a bit risky because if black disconnects, right? Now what we have going on is a huge ko, and that can be very bad for both players if they lose the ko. Important thing now though is black takes first. So if white disconnects, then there's a lot of points. White might be able to cut off those, but at the same time, if those 3 stones are captured, black can get a pretty good compensation. So after all those slots, white probably decided to play this first and play here. And black decided to wedge because if black just plays here, then we're kind of back to the variation again. So black gets a slightly better deal and gets to Tanuki, but there aren't a lot of points. So if he chooses to fix this here, obviously that's pretty small. White can just play here, and then get all the corner, right? But if black decides to Tanuki, then what we'll see is white can get this first, and then now those 3 white stones are dead. Black has to live in order to survive. That's pretty good. So black wouldn't play that. Black decides to play here. Now black wedges. White blocks. Black connects. Any questions so far? By the way, because I do want to get to those things. But I hope that what this game shows you is kind of the thought process of players paying close attention to what their opponents really want, and subsequently refueling that plan by coming with moves that counterattack. Like that's the central idea here. Anyway, so if white gets this, right, if white disconnects, you might wonder, okay, well those 4 stones are pretty large. The thing is though, black gets a really good deal out of the bottom area by just capturing 1 stone, and now black can Tanuki again. So that's not a super duper deal. However, in the game, this is quite astonishing. White decided to really just beat black into a dango. And this is pretty much like obvious, right? Because black cannot play anything else. He cannot play here, otherwise white will capture. This is too large to be captured, so black has to connect, and this is in pieces, right? So that can't really work. Therefore, black must connect. So now what we have is this essentially this super triangle, right? If we label this super dango shape, right? It might seem like white has a lot of cutting points. So white's also pretty weak on the outside, but actually not that bad, right? Because white has reduced black's what should I say, efficiency by a lot. So black is spending a lot of moves to really just to take dominate here. White plays here, which is Sente. If black doesn't respond, black can get to take those 3 stones by killing them. But white gets this agi. And this is what we've been talking about before. If black tries to struggle his way out, like this, right? The crosscut might seem like a common to Suji. Then what we have is white can play here first, and then when black Ataris, white collects the D9 stone. So essentially what we have is this weakness at B10 and the other weakness at E7. Therefore, black needs to fix. But if black just fixes here, we still have agi. And it's not threatening to our opponent. So the takeaway lesson here really is if you're too relaxed, sometimes it gives your opponent an edge to take advantage. For example, in this case, white has Sente, and white doesn't have any connection problems in the middle. So white can just do this. So B15 and like the F15 sequences are super large, right? So if you actually count the number of points, black doesn't have a lot left on the left. Word choice there. Black doesn't have a lot of points on the left side anymore. Might seem still like a decent square, but not really. But in the meantime, white has so much on the top side. Also a decent area in the bottom right. Now, white decides to play here. After black's very strong counterattack at J10, basically just trying to maximize the threat on white. Any questions? No questions at all? It's quite a crowd today. So if black decides to push this, for example, white can get to connect. Doesn't seem like a bad deal for black though, because this is Sente. White has to connect. Black can then cut off this path. So in order for this giant white group not die, white must connect there. But it seems like black has connected in Sente with a lot of points in the center. And even though there has been some loss on the bottom, black can still come back and make the game complicated. So essentially what we're talking about here is really just trying to get Sente. And it's important for both sides, because if black is Sente, then he has a chance to fight back, especially in the top left corner there. But in the game, though, this was a questionable move. Black played at k2. Now, the intention is quite clear. Black doesn't want white to spend nothing in order to fix this weakness. White now needs to, for instance, connect at g4 in order to fix. So you might think that's slightly better for black, right? In the game, white decided to play this first, which is sente. And now this, because there will be plenty of agi. If black doesn't respond, for example, black plays here, then we have this. Quite painful, right? Probably can argue that black would be in danger. And now white fixes all of this. So, doesn't seem like black got a good deal out of that sequence because white fixed all the weaknesses in the center. So, black missed the chance because he could have pushed. And this might be relatable to your own games because sometimes you, when you have a chance and decide to save that for later, what usually happens is your opponent just kind of takes that away from you. Actually, not a lot of people are here today, huh? Wait, hold on. Another Geico ad. Lovely. This is what you get sent to here. Well, in this case, oh, I got it. Notifications. Well, in this case, white should get sent it, right? For example, if white just fixes the corner here, I think he should be in fine shape. Or just play this, as we said before. However, in the game, white decided to make the game more complicated, or not decided, but rather kind of a tough move in the center. Just trying to squeeze those 2 points. Black counterattacked though, which was pretty nice. So black played the probe move first. And now this is very interesting. And white decides to just attach, for example. Then black can Tanuki. But the point of the P2 move, the probing move, is to get black sente. Because if you remember in the previous move, or the previous few moves ago, my English is bad tonight. White's trying to get 2 more points by playing at J6. So black's plan in order to refute that is to not let white get everything, right? Essentially to find a chance to Tanuki in the top left. So even if white comes back, there should be a way for black to live. So this is pretty straightforward. Black should clamp. And then take this first. Now there's a sente-ai. The reason black played at Q5 was now that the cut is sente, black can get some I-shape here. If white doesn't respond, then there would be a very severe push. Right, if you play this, don't mind the bad shape, This is actually very severe, right? White can actually not block. In order to let black live, white must cut, and then black lives with 2 eyes. But at the same time, black only lost a few points, to be really honest, because if you... And this might seem very bad, right? Because black is obviously very, very concentrated in the area. But there's nothing fundamentally wrong about it, because black just Tanuki'd and lost a few points, but now he's got to move in the corner. B16 or F16, both moves are super large. Another approach white might take here is just play this. But black can still get Sente, because now there's this move. So every time when white tries to kill black, white always has to obviously take away the largest eye, aka the 2 stones at H5 and J5. So something like this. Korean 56, hey Shu. Hey Shu, don't make it bad. Take a dead groove and make it deader. Remember. So, where was I? In this case, actually, black will still succeed because if black, in this case, there's a move at R5 exchanged already. So now if white does anything silly, it's going to die. And obviously, white doesn't want black to connect here because that would be a disaster, because black just got some move elsewhere, and white wasted a turn. Now we say that doesn't work. White, in order to counterattack, played a move at T7, which is pretty clever actually. It's Koyotoya, aka the Death of the King. Nice, nice, nice. So the intention of this move is if black captures, right? There's a slight difference because now white can just Atari without problems. Notice how we didn't have like the T7 and T9 exchange before. However, where's in the tree? I prepared for this so hard. However, black can get a free move here first, and then start from this area, which is quite fascinating because nobody would have thought, well, there's some stuff there. What's the issue is, even though he seems to have really strong groups, this area is a bit low in terms of liberty. So white can't really kill. And I skipped too much once again. So white play here, and this is Ki by black, trying to not let white get what he wants. Now white plays here. Black blocks this. Tries to lift the corner. Now black lifts. But this is still a bit strange for black, because now let me first of all point out the 10,000 year ko in this corner here. So even though it seems like black has successfully stolen white's corner, there's a bit of a problem. White has this Tsuji at T4. So now this is looking like a 10,000 year code. If you guys know what this is, you should probably, or if you guys don't know, you should probably write it down. Basically, what a 10,000 year code is, let me explain this way. So this code can go on forever because, or at least for a really long period of time. White cannot connect this because otherwise there'd be like a Seki. But if Black connects this, he's automatically dead because White could just throw him to be like to get a T shape or just not do anything at all. So this code goes on for a while. Black and White try to make it like a multi-step code, or for White at least. So yeah, complicated. Black's not entirely alive. Now what is this? And there's some nasty agi here. Now White jumps, Black jumps, White jumps again. If Black just tries to push and cut, right? It seems like it makes a lot of sense. In this case, though, White has this Atari as Sente. White has that as Sente. G11, Black must connect. The Atari is with Sente. Now we see Black in a bit of a trouble. Because if Black does this, then those two stones are killed. So the pushing out doesn't work. Black will have to play here. And again, this is what happened. White fought back really hard with this move. You kind of have to marvel at the fighting power these two guys had. And this was like hundreds of years ago, right? So it's really interesting to watch. Black is here. Then there's a bit of a problem because if White Ataris, Black connects, White pushes through, then Black block, Hanes, White plays here, Black cuts, White connects. We see a bit of a trouble, right? Now Black's two stones at D11 and D12 cannot escape. That's out. We cannot do that. Black must Hana here. White Hanas again. Black Ataris, White connects. Black connects. Seems like pretty normal stuff. But once again, if there are actually many precautions Black must take here. If Black just Atari seems like it's simpler, but White can just take those. And virtually White's alive in the center. There's also a cutting point at age 15, mind you. So yeah, worrying times. And if White lives in this central area, right, then Black has nothing left. The corner is gone. The center is gone. That has agi. It's pretty much game over. So Black has to be careful here. When White connects at G12, Black is tempted to actually start the capturing race. For example, when Black jumps, White will just push and cut. And this is all Sente, as expected. But even though it seems like Black might be able to kill White, White actually has the same amount of liberties. So if you cut this out a little bit, you realize that Black is actually behind by quite a couple of liberties. So that doesn't work, clearly. If Black plays this directly, then White can play here. And still get a pretty good edge. Now this is locally better for Black, obviously, because he doesn't have to suffer from what's the word? Having his entire dragon killed. But every time, when White plays from the outside, Black will have to fill in. So that's a little bit awkward because you're essentially filling your own territory. Again, Black plays here. So White plays this. Black plays this. Now White extends. This is brutal fighting power because if Black just blocks, then White can play here. And then White can wedge. This is Sente. That is Sente. This is Sente. Now White can Hane. So basically it means White's center is already alive. If you look at this area, it might seem like dead, but White's Atari and E8 is Sente, keep in mind. So that will not die. Black has to do something here. For example, that. But this is close to working. You might think, well, Black has White separated, right? The truth is, though, when we get to this part of our calculations, we can realize that the best Black can get is actually just this, and nothing else. A little bit sad, but that will be really bad. So you want to avoid that happening. In the game, though, what Black did was, oh, it jumped so many moves. Black decided to counterattack. White wedged, which is a good move. Cost Black a lot of liberties. Black plays here, White extends. Black plays this. Now, essentially, this position is a Seki because you can actually read it out. It might seem like Black has more liberties than White does, but if you look at this area here, like for example, this, or actually not that, but I think this is fine, right? Oh, I must have played somewhere wrong. Let me go back in the game. No. Rest of the game record. Yeah, something like that. What happened eventually was White ended up killing the group on the right. I omitted a lot of moves here, which is why I am kind of... Who won this game? I think it was White. White won by 6.5 points in the end. Anyway, I may have lost the record a little bit here, but shouldn't affect the general impression of the game. So, any questions?